All right, let's give this a try. Welcome to Sec 4 Science. My name is Hannah, but you won't have me. Most of you met me last year. I'll be coming back sometime in term 2. I just want to introduce you to how the course is going to work, and I thought I would do that through this little recorded message for you. So let's get started. How this course works. Each lesson is a video lesson, just like this one. And if you miss a lesson, it means you can watch it later. The video lessons are not a substitute for class. You really need to be in class as much as possible, okay? Each lesson has fill-in-the-blank notes that go with it, except for this one. So fill in the notes as the lesson goes by. You'll see when we start doing them that the blanks are already on your sheet, and what you need to copy down is in bold and underlined. So writing things down is proven to help you remember them. It's important that you do this. Keep your notes in order. Makes it easier to study, and keep them in a binder that you only use for science so that you're organized and you're not looking around for your things when it comes time to study for a quiz or a test. Each lesson has practice questions that go with it in your workbook. Finish the questions after the video lessons. The workbook also tells you textbook pages that you can look at to help you, so you can use a textbook and your workbook and your notes to help you get the work done. Here's how you're evaluated in science. Your grade comes from 2 competencies. So competencies are just kinds of skills. We have competency 1. This is your lab mark, basically. It says seeks to answers or solutions to scientific or technological problems. It's worth 40% of your overall grade. It's based pretty much entirely on the labs that you do, the experiments we're going to do in class. Okay? The second competency is called competency 2, makes the most of his or her knowledge of science and technology. So this is based on work you do in class when there's not an experiment. So quizzes, assignments, tests, these kinds of things. What it is it's asking you to show what you know, put it into context, and basically be able to communicate your knowledge using scientific language. All right, here's where your grades come from. This is the kind of stuff you can expect to be evaluated on during term 1. So you have different kinds of quizzes and different kinds of assignments. All of these quizzes are going to be done on Google Forms. The assignments are done in your workbook. You have 3 different labs in the term. The ocean circulation lab and the watershed lab are labs that you do in class. You need to be physically present for the day that we're doing the lab. Or if you miss it, you need to make sure that you catch up and you come in outside of class and do them. The 3rd lab, energy resources lab, that's done on a website. It's a virtual lab. You still need to do it. It counts just the same. So here's what these assignments are worth. Your labs, there's only 3 of them. They're worth 33% each. That's why it's really important that you do them and that you do well. If you goof around on one lab, it will really hurt your mark. It's the whole lab grade. 33% each, 3 labs, whole lab grade for 100%. Quizzes, they're worth 15% each. They end up being 45% of your competency 2. So you want to do well on your quizzes as well. Your assignments, they're 10% each. They're 30% of competency 2. And your test, it's 25% of competency 2. You only have 1 test this term. All right. I want to alert you to the fact that Sec 4 Science is required to earn your high school diploma. You need to pass it. And it's possible to do it. Anybody can pass this course. You just need to put some work into it. Attendance matters in secondary 4, not just in science, in every subject. Make sure that you're in school as much as possible. Go to remediation. That's extra help if you are absent, or if you're confused about what's going on in class. Do not wait to ask for help. Don't get buried in all kinds of things you don't understand. Don't let it drag on for weeks and weeks. Go right away. What about your final exam? At the end of the year, you need to complete a final exam from the Ministry of Education. Your teacher does not write the exam. It comes from the government. that your teacher is not even allowed to be in the room when you are writing the exam. You are really on your own. The whole year is about preparing you for this moment. Every Sec 4 student in Quebec will write the same exam, and it covers everything that you do in Sec 4 Science from August until June. That means it's cumulative. It covers the whole course. So, here's how to pass. You can all pass if you follow a few simple steps. Go to class every day, no exceptions. Stay on top of the work. Do not let assignments pile up, and use your class time wisely. I cannot stress this last one enough. Use your class time wisely. Do not sit in class and talk. Do not sit in class and play on your phone. Sit in class, listen, do the work. Try to get as much done as possible. These are the people that end up doing really well, are the people who are paying attention and the people who are doing the work. Go to extra help if you are absent or confused. Also a really good place to catch up. Keep your notes organized. That's because you're going to want to study, and it's easier to study if your stuff is organized. And you need to study. And this one is also really important. Do your absolute best on the labs you do in class. Your labs are so, so important, and you're going to find out why. Here's how your final grade is calculated. 40% of your whole grade comes from the labs. And it comes entirely from your teacher. So your teacher and you, mostly you, control how you do on these labs. Okay? This part of your grade, 40%, entirely in your control. Do the best you can. Competency 2 is worth 60%. 30% comes from the work you have done in class over the year. Again, you have control over this part. 30% comes from the result on the ministry exam. You have control over this too, and all the work you put in over the course of the year is going to help you out on the exam. So, the final is hard. Lots of people talk about it being that way. It is challenging. It will be much easier if you follow the suggestions for success that you have already been given today. Also, the ministry exam is not the only part of your grade. We saw before that it's only worth 30%, right? So, look at this calculation. Let's say in competency 1, you earned 80%, which means you overall did pretty well, actually really well, on your labs for the entire year. 80% is a good job. In competency 2, in class, on your tests, quizzes, assignments, blah, 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 you earned 60%. Please aim higher than this. Aim higher than just passing. And then on the final exam, you only earned a 40%. You tried. Maybe you should have worked a little bit harder on the stuff in class and you would have been more prepared. So, with an 80% in competency 1 and a 60% from your teacher and a 40% from your ministry exam, your final grade ends up being 62%. Congratulations, you are one step closer to graduating. You can still pass, even if you fail the final exam. You need to do well on the labs. Take the labs seriously. They are made to help you understand the material. They're not made to make your life more complicated. They're easy labs. They're made just to help you better understand what we're doing in class. Okay? So again, the takeaway here is to do the work in class and do as well as you can on all the labs. Welcome to Secondary 4 Science. I hope that you work hard and have a great year.